Good Friday morning, Mount Olive family, friends of Mount Olive, all of you tuning in to watch another Friday devotion. I wanted to show you my shirt. This is our Go Serve Love MTO church shirt. Take it from Galatians 5:13. This is the shirt that our mission team wore to our 2022 mission team wore to Nicaragua this summer, and I'm wearing it today in honor of, in memory of Brother Don Gillette, who was the founder of Because We Care Ministries in Nicaragua. As most of you know, he passed away this week. Um, he was a very godly man. My interactions with him, he's always talking about the Lord and about how we can serve others, and that's what it was all about. I appreciate getting to know him, and working with him, and as a mission director, as foreign mission director for Mount Olive, I got to spend quite a few conversations with him and his wife Pam concerning the needs of the people in Nicaragua and what we could bring with us when we go to help them out. Appreciate all of his insight into the needs there, and how he helped us to be better prepared when we went there. We're going to miss him. His family is going to miss him, but we know where he's at. We know that he loved God and God loved him, and so we know that he has passed from death unto life, and the life eternal. And got to take his first deep breath in many a year, and as some of you know, his lung condition, part of his lung condition, is the same thing that my wife was diagnosed with in 2014. Hers is not as bad as his, and he was on it 24/7. He always gave her a lot of guidance when he come in. They would talk about their illness, and he would say he went through all the different portable oxygen machines and devices, and he said, "You get this one right here. This is the one." And so, she put a lot of weight in his experience with those. But, we are going to miss him. Continue to remember his family and in your prayers in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. And, that they will just continue to hold on to God's love and his grace, his mercy, knowing that one day we'll get to see Brother Don again. So I'm going to share my screen with you, hopefully. Okay, so Pastor TJ, he continued his series, Living by Faith, this taken from Habakkuk chapter 3 this past Sunday, and he entitled it Focused Faith. So that's in his key verse. Let me bring that up for you, hopefully. Says, as that's in chapter 3, verse 2, he says, "O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy." Now, Habakkuk had heard from God how that God was going to raise up the Chaldeans to come and utterly destroy the Jerusalem that Habakkuk loved. And Habakkuk was afraid. He was not just for himself, but for his people, his city, and his nation. And he wondered, how could God allow this to happen to the city God loved and to the people that God called the apple of his eye? And that's in Psalm 17:8, the apple of his eye. But the reason is because this people had forgotten about God and all that he had done for them, and judgment had come home. Sometimes things come our way also, sometimes because of our disobedience, and God is using a situation or a trial to get our attention and for us to seek forgiveness. And sometimes we go through things that we don't understand, and we do question why. And fear it's a natural reaction to sometimes things that we see, like spiders or snakes, or maybe it's something that, you have a fear of flying or whatever it might be. But often fear is a reaction to things that we don't see or don't understand. Now, being on the receiving end of God's wrath, like Habakkuk, would be a terrifying thing. But even in his fear, he gives us an example of how we should react to our fear. And it's the same verse, but I highlighted these. He says, "O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years." And he says, "In wrath, remember mercy." He but Habakkuk, he calls out to God and he reminds God of all the good things that he's done for his people. And he asks God to revive or bring back alive his work that he had done for his people. And he asked God that in his wrath, remember mercy for the sake of his people. Habakkuk had fear, but he also had faith. And he chose faith over fear. I found this little graphic and thought it fit the devotion. He chose faith over fear. Just like Habakkuk, we need to place our faith over our fears when trials and tribulations come, when sickness comes, when financial problems come, or when family and marital problems come. Our faith must be stronger than any of our problems because our God that we serve is bigger than all of our problems and situations. Now, if we let the devil rob us of this truth that God is bigger, God is stronger, God is greater than any of our trials and tribulations, then we are fair game for the devil. God never leaves us or forsakes us. He is always our force in the good and in the bad. So I found this other little graphic here. It's a pair of hands and they're sifting sand. I thought as I was preparing my devotion, I thought I would put this in here. And it reminded me of something I said a little while back when we talked about the trials and tribulations we go through. And I said that nothing comes into our lives without being first sifted through God's hands first. So I added some little graphics here. As we see up in the top, this hand is full of sand. In that, I said, God's hands is full of all trials that are coming our way, all tribulations that are coming our way, all sicknesses that are coming our way, all diseases that are coming our way. But it's also, his hands are also full of grace, mercy, love, and healings. So when it's sifted through his hand, as we see in the bottom, there's healings and grace and love and mercy again and grace again and love again. And then there's a trial and a tribulation, there's healings, and then there's a disease, there's a sickness, and there's mercy. We've got to remember that the good times that God has gave us, outweighs all the bad times. The goodness of God, his grace, his mercy, his love, his healings, his care for us always outweighs the devil's trials and tribulations. The sickness and disease that, the devil attacks God's people with, God's love is so much greater than that. So when the dark times come and fear tries to darken your faith, always remember that what God has already done for you and what he will still do for you if we will just call out to him. God is not taken back by our questions at all. When we question why or whatever, because, he knows us better than we know ourselves. It's a good thing to remind God, just like Habakkuk was, it's a good thing to remind God of all the good things that he has done for us. Why? Because it reminds us of all the good things that God has done for us. I hope you have enjoyed this Friday devotion. I hope something's been said that will help you in your walk with the Lord. I asked you to be much in prayer for Brother Jason. I think he'll be bringing the message this Sunday. Be much in prayer for those who will be there Sunday. We had a very good crowd this past Sunday, and just pray that someone who may come that needs the Lord, and they will give their heart and their life to Him this Sunday. We know that there are people that come every Sunday that have not given their heart and their life to Jesus Christ. But let's pray that today, let's pray today, let's pray tomorrow, let's pray every day that God will speak to their hearts, and that maybe this Sunday, or maybe even before this Sunday, we'll hear of their salvation. God can work that too. I love each one of you, and that you pray for me, and I'll pray for you all as well. Thank you, and love each one of you.